Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. There were some ulama that were prolific readers and authors, and then there were some that put the word prolific to shame. Never has the world been accustomed to having one single person do so much work alone without help from another human being. Possibly the most famous person in this regard is Imam As-Suyooti Rahimahullah. His full name was Jalaluddin Abul Fadl Abdurrahman ibn Abi Bakr ibn Muhammad ibn Sabiquddin As-Suyuti Rahimahullah, and his nickname was Ibn al-Kutub, the son of the books, which is a very apt name, both literally and metaphorically. For the literal part, his father was a pious alim, and he had a lot of kitabs. And one night he had called his wife to bring him a kitab, and as she brought the book she went into labor. And Imam As-Suyuti Rahimahullah was born right there in the library amongst the kitabs, so he came to be known by this name. And metaphorically, from the sense that there isn't another scholar that is known to have produced as much kitabs as Imam As-Suyuti Rahimahullah, and definitely not in such a short space of time. So he truly was a son of the books. Imam As-Suyuti Rahimahullah was born in the year 849 after Hijrah in the city of Cairo in Egypt, but his father was originally from Asyut and he had traveled and settled in Cairo. Imam As-Suyuti Rahimahullah's father was in his age by the time Imam As-Suyuti was born. That is why when he was only 6 years old, his father passed away, and at that time he was already 60 years old. So Imam As-Suyuti Rahimahullah grew up as an orphan without a father. But Allah had instilled within him a love for studying the deen from a young age. And so he began studying from that very young age, and by the time he had turned 8, he had already memorized the entire Quran. Imam As-Suyuti Rahimahullah was very fortunate, because within his time lived many great ulama from the various madhahib, and he studied under a number of the senior ulama of the time and benefited from the directives of others. One of the senior Hanafi fuqaha of the time was Imam Al-Kamal ibn al-Humam Rahimahullah. He was a friend of Imam As-Suyuti Rahimahullah's father, and he had a great impact on the young Imam As-Suyuti. From him, Imam As-Suyuti Rahimahullah learned the importance of staying away from the rulers to not become their rubber stamp and lose one's deen in the process. As for the teachers of Imam As-Suyuti Rahimahullah, then they were such brilliant stars that a person who doesn't know them will not be able to appreciate just how great they were. Amongst these teachers was the Hafiz Imam Al-Munawi Rahimahullah, and the Hafiz Imam As-Sakhawi Rahimahullah, who was the main student of Imam Ibn Hajar Al-Asqalani Rahimahullah. He also studied under Imam Ibn Ruslan Al-Bulqini, under Imam Taqiyuddin Al-Shumunni. He was also a student of the Hanafi faqih Imam Qasim ibn Qutlubugha and many others, rahimahumullah. So many ulama did he study under that the ulama have said that he learned by no less than 200 ulama. Some have put the number of his teachers much higher, but the lowest number is 200. Imam As-Suyuti Rahimahullah was an imam in every field. He had memorized the Quran and the different qira'at. He was a hafiz of hadith. He was a faqih. He was a mufassir. He was a historian. He was a poet and a linguist. And he was also a master in usul, in medicine, in inheritance, and much more. And what is more is that he wrote on all of those fields, and then some. It is said that the amount of books written by Imam As-Suyuti Rahimahullah are about 600 in number. We're not referring to little 1-2 page pamphlets. We're talking about massive works, many of which are numerous in volume. Amongst the teachers of Imam Jalaluddin As-Suyuti Rahimahullah was the great Imam Jalaluddin Al-Mahalli. Imam Al-Mahalli Rahimahullah had been writing a tafsir of the Quran, but in the interim he passed away, leaving it incomplete. So Imam As-Suyuti Rahimahullah picked up where his teacher had left off and completed the tafsir of the Quran. That tafsir is known today as Tafsir Jalalain, the two Jalals, begun by Imam Jalaluddin Al-Mahalli and completed by Imam Jalaluddin As-Suyuti Rahimahumallah. Some people mistakenly think that this was the only tafsir written by Imam As-Suyuti Rahimahullah. The reality is that he had written others as well, starting with Turjumanul Quran, then Ad-Durul Manthur and Mafatihul Ghaib. But apart from these, he wrote a number of works relating to the Quranic sciences, such as the 10 qira'at, the similar verses in the Quran, the reasons for revelation, the issue of abrogation in the Quran, and others. Where hadith and its sciences are concerned, here too Imam As-Suyooti Rahimahullah shone, writing a commentary on the Mu'atta of Imam Malik Rahimahullah. He wrote on the famous well-known ahadith. He wrote on who the Huffaz of hadith were, as well as the flip side of the coin, who the narrators were that were trying to conceal who they had heard ahadith from. Let us not talk about the field of history, because here Imam As-Suyuti Rahimahullah wrote more than 55 books, big and small ones. Famous ones are like his Tarikh al-Khulafa and Tabaqat al-Usuliyin and his book Al-Isaba fi Ma'rifati al-Sahaba. And if we were to speak about the Arabic language and its associated sciences, then here he had written over 100 books. The ulama, the lay people, the kings and the noble ones, all had the most glowing praise for Imam As-Suyuti Rahimahullah. Time and again, rich people and the rulers would send him money and gifts, but without fail, he would always refuse to accept it and have it sent back to them. Because of part of him being independent was by not allowing people to do favors for him or to accept such type of bribes from them. Because then they will have some expectations from him. It's like, I do so much for you. Maybe you can give me a fatwa in support of me. And in that way, make the deen a plaything. And that is what Imam Ibn al-Humam Rahimahullah had warned him about all those many years ago. Imam As-Suyuti Rahimahullah passed away when he was only 61 years old. An almost impossible task to think that one man could have written so many books apart from teaching and studying and everything else, all in such a short space of time. This is a prime example of when Allah has put barakah in your time. May Allah put barakah in our time and enable us to also do something for the deen, something that will benefit us on that day when we will wish that we had done more in this world. آمين يا رب العالمين وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.